Leeds have an early chance to avenge last week's cup defeat by Bradford with vital championship points at stake. The Northern fans have been this way before. This is their 5th visit to Headingley this season, including the Yorkshire Cup final, and they've lost only once. Indeed, their record here since 1983 is excellent. 6 wins, 3 draws and only 3 defeats. And in their most recent triumph here 7 days ago, Paul Harkin was their inspiration. 30 years of age, he may feel a little unlucky not to have won more than 1 Great Britain cap. And he's almost cornered the market in Man of the Match awards in major finals, 4 more than anyone else. David Watkins.
Good sides inevitably produce quality halfbacks. Bradford have Paul Harkin. He is a player of exceptional quality, whether kicking ahead or indeed making half breaks, as is ideally illustrated in this clip. His line kicking is superb, both in attack and defence. His speed off the mark and his ability to wrong-foot the defence, all included in this wonderful individual try. His variation of tactics highlighted by this superb kick up and under, and allows his teammates to capitalise on and score.
Well, of course, any scrum half needs good forwards, and Harkin can't complain. Here's the big and beautiful Bradford pack. Well, big anyway. Kelvin Skerritt back in the Great Britain jersey this season. Glenn Barraclough, a young hooker who's kept his place despite the return from injury of Brian Noble, who did a sterling job at prop in Northern's midweek defeat of Widnes, which left them 8 points behind the leaders Wigan, but with 2 games in hand over them and 1 in hand over Leeds, who dropped back to 3rd when Widnes won at Castleford yesterday. From down under, Leeds' new men at work. Craig Coleman's replacement as scrum half, fellow Aussie David Cruikshank from South Sydney. Another debutant, Mike Kuiti, who played his first New Zealand test in France last month. And Cavill Hugh from Australia via Barrow in time for New Year. His 4th game for Leeds was Wednesday's victory over Leeds. After a shaky start, Leeds showed they'd put their cup disappointment behind them with 4 second-half tries. Colin Maskell, who's in cracking form, got 2 and made this one for substitute John Bentley. And there was also one for Phil Ford, who today faces his old club, who have the Indian sign on Leeds.
They seem to be our bogey side, we can't beat them. The fair dues to Bradford, they are playing some good rugby. And Leeds, like last game we played them was last week, we weren't on top form, they were on top form. They absolutely outplayed us in all departments, but this week, like, we're hoping to break the stranglehold.
Well, today Phil Ford's usual right wing spot goes to John Bentley. Ford is sub. David Creaser and Gary Schofield swap places, and with Gary Devorty injured, Mike Kuiti makes his debut as loose forward instead of second row. The Northern team is unchanged from Wednesday night. Roger Simpson continues at standoff because Ivan Henjak failed a fitness test on strained ankle ligaments. Young Gavin Snee gets another game in an injury-hit pack, where David Hobbs with eye trouble is the latest casualty. Well, our Christmas competition winner John Brown is here. More on his look behind the scrum down scenes later. Plus the leaders Wigan in action at Hull. But now let's join David Watkins and John Helm for the 5th West Yorkshire derby of the season. John.
Keith Mumby sets the game in motion here at Headingley. Bradford Northern know this field just about as well as Leeds, I imagine, at the moment. There's been a bit of a late Leeds reshuffle, obviously, and one wonders how that is going to affect the side. But David, I think this is a match of vital importance to Leeds to keep their season going.
Absolutely. Bradford will need a good win today to consolidate their position in the league, but Leeds need to win to justify to their supporters because of their disappointment of being knocked out of the first round of the Cup proper.
And especially against Bradford, who seem to have had that Indian sign over them here in recent seasons. Schofield will kick. And it's not looking a bad kick either, and they're fielded now by Graham Mackay, the huge Australian wingman from Western Suburbs, who's developed as the season has gone on for the club, really. Mumby on the halfway line. Harkin, the architect of the victory here last Sunday without question, Paul Harkin. And he'll get the ball again now from Barraclough, and he'll kick. And that looks pretty astute. And Paul Harkin must have a feel for this ground.
Well, he's a brilliant player. I mean, they've been under pressure for so long. He realised it only went to the second tackle. He came in rather quickly and put that long touch finder, which has now put them on the attack from a defensive position.
It must be very dispiriting, David, if you've had all that pressure and then you get pinned back on your own 25, say lose the ball.
Well, that's where Harkin's a good player. He looked up, he saw that they'd been under pressure a long time and wanted it down their own half.
This is good from Leeds though, Crease's break. Marchant's tackle. It was a difficult ball to take, but Queity took it and found Maskell. Well, the handling generally has been pretty good from Leeds so far. Roy Powell took one of those passes a few minutes ago as well, and now Schofield's kick. It's a long, long chase back for Keith Mumby. Can't make it. And Harkin at one end, Schofield at the other. Scrum wheeled round there, and Leeds got the ball, and Leeds have got a try, and it's Queity. Where did he spring from? Straight from the scrum, and Mike Queity marks his Leeds debut with the try that Leeds have been looking for, and it came from a very unusual source.
Well, let's just have a look at this scrum. Just have a look at this scrum. Look at that. That was brilliance, or was it luck? But anyway, it bounced into his hand, he pushed off the defence, took them by surprise and scored in the corner.
The irony was it was a mistake by Paul Harkin, who'd been so influential up to that moment. But Queity will have made himself mightily popular with the Headingley faithful already. Difficult kick this for Colin Maskell, but he's certainly had his kicking boots on recently. Not with this one though. 4-0 it is. Leeds have got those points that they wanted, but unfortunately I think that he took his eye off the ball at that moment, just when he shouldn't have done. It's Campbell Hugh. So some encouragement for Bradford, and I'm sure Harkin will be doubly aware from this scrum he doesn't make the same mistake, and spreads it out for McGowan, and McGowan has support from Mumby. Mumby has it out for Caudle. Now Caudle's quick, and can he make that line? He's a yard short, he's over. It's a try for Gerald Caudle. The immediate reply from Bradford, and the look says it all. He was not happy with the tackle that came in on him. But Caudle, who scored twice here in the Yorkshire Cup final, has got Bradford on the scoreboard.
Well, Leeds made a mistake, they missed the kick out, and Bradford moved it straight away. They wanted to look for a score, they moved it out wide. Belies the fact they depended entirely on their forwards, because that was a superb passing movement for a try.
And the reason that Gerald Caudle, in scoring his 17th try, wasn't too ecstatic was with Queity's tackle, which I think he felt was around the head. Nonetheless, there was no penalty against Queity. Graham Mackay is the Bradford goal kicker in the absence of David Hobbs, who tells me, by the way, that he expects to be back in 2 weeks' time. The eye injury isn't as bad as was at first feared. So that's more good news for Bradford Northern. And there'll be even more if Mackay kicks this one. From a very similar position to the one just missed by Maskell. Oh, no need to tell you.
Well, Leeds had scored, they kicked off Bradford to them, they made a fatal mistake when they should have been catching it. That's all Bradford did, Leary, was move the ball out wide. Caudle, determined running, took him over in the corner.
It's 4-all. Harkin again. We're going to run out of superlatives. Psychologically, David, it was a marvellous time for Bradford to respond, having just gone 4 points down.
Yes, it was, and Harkin, he just shows the confidence the guy has got now. I mean, it was his mistake that led to the Leeds try, but then again he takes the hold of the game straight away, puts a long kick down, finds touch again.
And there he sets Simpson going towards the Leeds line as Bradford win another scrum. And it doesn't seem to matter who's putting the ball in today, Bradford taking the scrums. Russell Stewart is a great worker, finds Mumby in support, and Mumby only a few yards from the line. Keith Mumby might not have the pace that he used to have, but he's certainly got the football awareness. And Russell Stewart, a yard out, McGowan won't be stopped. Oh, well, he's not managed to put the ball down properly and going over the line, apparently, according to referee Holdsworth. But Leeds were ripped apart there.
Well, it's desperate defence. I mean, it's only people turning inside, but Leeds are all at 6 and 7. 3 men there. Fortunately for Leeds, you let it go.
I think actually he put the ball down maybe just about 6 inches short of the line too. That could have been a hammer blow to Leeds if Bradford had got a second one then. Huitti waited and timed the pass brilliantly for Carl Gibson, who is away. Simpson chases, Mumby comes across and Simpson catches him. Certainly lively now. Huitti, infield, Schofield, and Leeds certainly have their options here. Wasn't a great ball, but it bounced reasonably kindly. It's knocked on by Bentley though. And you don't need a lip reader to tell you what John Bentley's message was.
Well, it's quick passing. I mean, look at Carl Gibson now. Superb pass then. Put it on the burst. He goes up down the middle of the touchline here. But the defence is now coming to catch him up.
It's a penalty for Bradford. It's just about the first one they've won. And Kelvin Skerritt's look. It's a marvellous one, isn't it? John Holdsworth has words with Nobby Noble, and yet the penalty has been given to Bradford.
Well, he is a powerful runner. When he goes, he really does batter his way through defenders. But there's no doubts at all about that. It was a high tackle, and the decision went wrong.
That was Huitti, whose tackle on Caudle produced a rather look of anger. Noble will drive Bradford forward again. Midway inside the Leeds half, taken on by Roger Simpson. I wouldn't be altogether surprised if the match ended in a draw. We've had a few of those between these sides at Headingley as well. Harkin, now McGowan, who got 2 tries here last Sunday. There's a good set for the line. Then it's Harkin. Oh, that's a good kick through. This could be dangerous. Mackay steaming up that left wing. And if he'd have just got his paws on that one, I think Bradford would have registered. What a clever kick.
Oh, what a player. I mean, we must give him all the accolades, because he really does. He turns, just watch this now. The ball comes out here. He goes to go for the half break and twists around completely at a 45-degree angle. And that really gave Mackay a chance again in the corner. Ball just bouncing a little too quickly.
Takes a difficult pass. That was good for Leeds, and Schofield keeps it going, head down, charging, skipping, running, everything Schofield does is exciting. Penalty for holding him down. It's against McGowan, who knew it. And Schofield is posing most of the problems to Leeds when he runs like that. And since he arrived here at Headingley from Hull, he's been a terrific acquisition. I think this match, David, has been excellently refereed by John Holdsworth. He seems to have a very good rapport with the players down there.
That's right, he stepped into 1 or 2 unsavoury incidents. He's got in straight away and stopped it, and as a result of it, we've had a fairly fast-flowing game.
And the players are wearing a smile, most of them. Must be chances here as well for Dixon. Paul Dixon hasn't actually scored a try in the last 11 matches, having got 3 in 4 before that. Mumby looks a little bit groggy, and this has to be a great chance for Leeds. It's Kiwi's second from Schofield. It's a try, all right. So it's turning into a real treat for the Kiwi.
Well, Gary Schofield is back to his brilliant best. I mean, he saw the situation, he sized it all up, and the droid pass in, over for the try, made it all look so simple.
Well, Colin Maskell received a presentation before the match today in recognition of his 26 points in the midweek game against Lee. He was very close to beating the Leeds Jones record, and he's a highly popular man here at Headingley, and unfortunately he's not too popular with that kick. It missed, so he's unable to add to his record this year, but Leeds have the lead again. Seconds left. Penalty. They're going to have to be quick about whatever they do with these seconds ticking away to the hooter. Mumby's entrusted with the kicks for touch, and he's found a good one. But we're so close to the hooter. That was noble first up. There's the hooter. A really entertaining half, but unfortunately there's a bit of a punch-up. It certainly involved Dixon and Barraclough. Referee Holdsworth has to get in. That happened after the hooter. That's the stupidity of that incident. All they had to do was to walk to the dressing room. Nothing would have been said. The two touch judges came on. I certainly saw Dixon. I certainly saw Barraclough in there. And now Kelvin Skerritt is having to be calmed down. Well, I'm sure they do feed these fellas on red meat. But away go the players for half-time, and it's a good time for a break to come with it being so heated at that moment. So it's Leeds leading by 8 points to 4. But Waddell and Skerritt are the two who've been pulled out. The referee Holdsworth has had to give a few talkings to in his life. And away they go for the calming down process with a big grin certainly on the face of Hughie Waddell. And we've seen Skerritt smile once or twice during the half as well. So away they go, half-time here at Headingley. Leeds are leading 8-4, 2 tries for their new man Mike Kiwiti against one by Gerald Caudle for Northern. It promises to be a smashing second half here at Headingley. Join us for it after the break. From Bass Headingley. Well, half-time here, and it's Leeds 8, Bradford Northern 4. No shortage of talking points in the first half. The main one, that flashpoint just before the interval. And let's have a look at it. Now, Brian Noble goes in there, but watch Paul Dixon, number 10. He's the man who's dived in there, and he's stamped on the player, and that's what caused the problem. Barraclough got involved. Then Kelvin Skerritt came diving in as well, and referee Holdsworth had to separate them. Right, well, somebody who knows plenty about both sides is down on the touchline. That's the former Leeds and now Bradford Northern man, Paul Medley. He's with Nick.
Well, that remarkable flare-up just before half-time, were you aware of needle between the two teams up to that point?
Yeah, I think it was just getting a bit carried away towards the end. You know, it's always a big match between Leeds and Bradford, and I think just tempers were just getting a bit off.
There's been a lot of skill, but a lot of basic mistakes as well, hasn't there, on both sides?
Yeah, there's been a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, a lot of the basic stuff. I think both sides in this half will settle down and play, you know, a bit more what they call secure football.
Confident now or not?
Wait and see after 18 minutes.
Paul, thanks very much indeed. We're back underway, and the news from the referee, John, by the way, is that none of the players were sin-bin in that incident, but I think you'd find the penalty would have gone against Leeds and Paul Dixon if indeed the play hadn't stopped for half-time at that point. John?
Thanks for checking that out, Nick. And as you see there, your picture, Richard Gunn wearing the number 15 strip for Leeds is on in this second half. I'm sure Bradford supporters looking to see Paul Medley back in action to help his team. Leeds 4, Bradford 14. The first half scrum count is the largest margin I can recollect And against the head, Bradford already have taken 3. That's unusual. Penalties conceded, very low count. Bradford have conceded twice as many as Leeds, but still not very many in all. And the errors count is level, 10 apiece. And it's Leeds on the attack now. He's a live wire at half-back, and I think David has adapted quite well to the role.
Yes, he has. He's linked up quite well. He's been the perfect link between backs and forwards, and he's not been afraid to have a sortie on his own.
Schofield has got that ball in his hands again. He's had so much of it. Here's Gunn, the substitute. It's a forward pass then, which referee Holdsworth saw because he was close to the action, and that's where a good referee should always be. Gaze into each other's eyes, and not lovingly either. Bradford certainly will be looking to get back into the game on points terms quickly. Skerritt. Harkin will certainly think of kicking, and that little crouch, stooping style of his pays off once again. It's not often he misses.
He doesn't, and I think one of the things at half-time was noticeable. Leeds, for all their pressure and all the good football that they played, didn't really capitalise on it. They only had 2 tries, and Bradford have only had 1 or 2 opportunities, but made the most of that in 1 try, and there's still very little in it.
Francis has made some good ground there. Hugh got the ball out in the tackle. And Cruikshank gets it away again to Queity. Oh, and put down by Francis. Well, Norman Francis won't be too happy about that. He and Vince Fawcett vying for the left wing position here at Headingley. Fawcett away on Great Britain under 21 duty. 2 tries for him so far. For Leeds, and play on, says referee Holdsworth, and play on they will do. Bradford are trying to get their substitute, Simon Tuff's on, but can Leeds do something about it before he comes on? Almost there. Schofield, you feel, could be the man to prize them open. Liddell is running with great purpose. Really is desperate for Bradford at the moment. They can ill afford to give away a 3rd try. A bit more oohing from the crowd, but every tackle produces that. Again Schofield and Gunn. They always defend tigerishly. It's a Gary Schofield drop goal attempt, and it's a Gary Schofield drop goal successful. 9-4 then, the 3rd drop goal of the season for Gary Schofield. Just nudges Leeds that point further in front. And that was as straightforward, David, as you could get.
Yes, it was, but it was good because it pressure that they pushed and exerted on the Bradford defence, they had to have some return for it. Of course, he's dropped a goal. It not only gives them 1 point, it means that Bradford have to kick off to Leeds again, so they can have yet again 6 more played balls.
There's a big shout just gone up from the Leeds crowd because Bradford's key player, Paul Harkin, has had to go off, presumably for some treatment, and so Simon Tuffs is on. Bentley, didn't see much of him in the action today. not played much in recent weeks. Came on as a substitute and scored during the midweek win over Leeds. Nick.
John, not only some treatment for Paul Harkin, he in fact, according to the Bradford Northern doctor, will stay off the field. The doctor believes that Paul Harkin has broken a bone in a hand, so obviously in his view Paul Harkin will play no farther part. Incidentally, for Leeds, their substitution, Colin Maskill, also unlikely to return, although he might just be able to. He's hurt his right forearm.
We've seen some splendid kicking today, we really have, from both sides, but how vital a blow is that to Bradford Northern's hopes, not just for today, but for a few weeks maybe, if Paul Harkin's out.
Well, yes, it will, because it all seems to tick around Paul Harkin. I mean, he can make the half break, he can kick very well, he jockeys his players into the right positions, and so it will be a sad loss to the Bradford club to lose a player of his calibre.
Russell Stewart's gone into half-back from loose forward. We're trying for another try straight from the scrum there, around the blind side. Most unfortunate, as they say, for Mr. Woodell. A lot to think about down there for David Ward and company. Well, that was cleverly done by Simpson. He's still looking to get that ball out. Just do so. So Mumby attacking half-back finds Stewart. Along the line, McGowan, and now he has given Caudle a chance to run, and Caudle unfortunately for Bradford slipped, but he's regained his footing, and he's coming and he's running well. This is exciting from Caudle, and the pass is a good one, and it's well held by Mackay, who has to cut back inside. Mackay finds, and Gibson nearly the interception, as the ball was intended for Marchant. That's certainly the best we've seen of Bradford, simply because they've hauled their two wingers.
Well, that's always the problem that Leeds are going to have, is that they can't allow this Bradford side to move it out to people like Caudle. He came off his one wing right across the other side of the field to join up with Mackay. Only good defence then saved Leeds.
And we're hearing the Bradford Northern fans for a change. They've not had much to cheer about in this game yet, just the one try. It's here for Stewart though. Stewart still into that gap, pulled back by Queety. The Bradford fans are roaring and hoping. Mackay, he's a real handful, is Graham Mackay. They're trying to tear him apart limb from limb, I think. A try now would certainly make life interesting. The ball was lost, and the penalty is awarded.